be very interesting with plenty of examples. So please make sure that you all are going to pay attention to the things that I'm going to deliver. Before we get into that, I would like to give you a couple of announcements, starting with make sure that considering the unwanted disturbance and everything, we have switched off your cameras and microphone. And if you have any questions throughout the lectures, or maybe now, if you have any questions, please make sure that you're gonna post your question using chat. You can see the MS Teams that you are joining now. On the right corner, you can see a small option called chat. So click that chat box, and then you can put all your comments or questions or whatever the things that you want, you can get. Okay, so that's what we call chat box. And make sure that you are going to register at the end. They will ask you to register, or maybe they will ask you to do something if you want a CPD certificate, right? If you will provide you CPD certificate. So if you want anything, please make sure that you are going to register in that. And also importantly, this session CPD, free CPD, will be conducted in 2 parts. Okay, very important. Very important. In one part, we're gonna cover as one sections or maybe one set of work, how it will be executed. And the other part, we are going to speak about how about the other perspective. We all know that one. One example, if you're going to think about yourself as a main contractor, or maybe client, or maybe consultant, or maybe subcontractor, whoever you are, in one point of view, you're going to act as a person who is floating the tender, right? You all might have experience. I don't know exactly. Before that, how many of you wants to become MRICS? Say yes, or maybe type in the chat box yes, just to make you all to engage with that. Okay, how many of you? Don't raise your hands. I'm unable to allow you to speak. So just put your answers yes or no. Yeah, good. I'm receiving many. Yes, excellent. Okay, later on it. Right. Very good. Excellent. Good. Excellent. So remember, once you all become MRICS chartered members, you will be in charge to handle many things. You will become a manager. You will become a person who will take charge of something. So in that point, or at that point, you are going to handle at least one step that we're going to learn today. At least one step you will involve. And also, now, currently, maybe you are involving in that. I'm not aware about your personal experience and everything. Maybe you are involving. I don't know about that. But remember that whatever the things that we're going to learn today, all of them are very practical. The one I'm going to show you all the examples that we did. Okay. And how that's going to be executed. So if you are a main contractor, or maybe a consultant, or maybe a client, or maybe a subcontractor who is going to do a tender for your small works and everything, for all these kind of people, today's lesson will tell you how you are going to handle a tender. How you're going to handle a tender. So remember, guys, today's example is completely practical. So even though you learn something, or maybe you might have learned from universities, undergraduate, or somewhere else something, theory, of course, this practical example that I'm going to give, that will be something very deeper and also slightly different, maybe, okay? Slightly different than things that you have learned. But in fact, you all know that we are going to practice something similar to this in our industries. So as you all going to become MRICS, inshallah, you all will involve at least one step of the things that we're going to learn today. Okay, at least. But most of the people will manage entire process. But at least what I'm telling that, at least you will handle something. Right. So before I dive into that, I would like to see a small question. I would like to ask a small question that how many of you are from main contractor? You can type your answer, yes, main contractor. And how many of you are from client or consultant? Just type your answers in the chat box. So if you are from main contractor, type main contractor. Anyone from client or consultant, type, okay, PMC, client, main contractor, consultant, contractor, client, or maybe subcontractor, no problem. Main contractor, client, MC, PMC, client, good, consultant, main contractor. Good. So my target is good. My target is correct. So I said I'm going to deliver two CPDs. One, focusing how to handle if you are the one who is going to float the tender, if you are the one who is going to receive the biddings and everything, how to handle one. The other CPD we will learn if I'm going to receive a tender, how I'm going to react to that. So two completely different perspective. So today, as we have learned, today what we're going to do, we're going to learn certain stages about procurement. Okay. So remember, when we speak about tender is a process of a small portion of procurement. We will learn, if I'm not wrong, next slide, we are going to learn what is that. And you all need to understand one very important things, guys. So whatever the activities or whatever the stage or maybe item that I'm going to teach you all today, remember all of them are practical and we are going to do them in a day-to-day activities. So all these kind of things that we're going to learn, all of them are day-to-days that we are going to handle. So understand that everything, all the stages that I'm going to lecture to you all are the process, real process that you all are going to implement if you are going to handle your tender, whether you are a main contractor, consultant, or subcontractor, whoever you are. But remember, all these perspective today we're going to learn as a part number 1 of our CPD that related to if I'm going to float the tender. Maybe you are a subcontractor, right? So let's say you are a subcontractor specialized in civil work, for an example, okay? Or else you are a main contractor specialized in, let's say, civil work. Suddenly you receive an engineer instruction in which the client say that, dear contractor or maybe dear subcontractor, we want to do some kind of tiles work or maybe marble work or maybe what is that, wall marble work or maybe wall tiles wall or something like that, they say to you, where you are only a civil contractor but you are not specialized in that work. You are not specialized in floor tiles. You are not specialized in, for an example, ceiling work. But you sign a contract for 20 million, 50 million. But now clients say that one, you need to do a small work, which is 2 million's work, but you are not specialized. What you will do? You as a main contractor, or maybe you as a subcontractor, you need to find your small other contractors who can do that 2 million worth of tiles work. Similar to the thing about you are a client or consultant. The client or the owner of the building came to you and say that, well, okay, Mohammed or maybe Jagan or maybe John or Peter, we need to do some kind of small tender because now I've preferred to do some kind of additional, let's say, floor tile. So I need to find a good contractor who can do. You as a John or Peter, how you will react? Do you know what are the documents that you need to collect? Do you know what is the procedure of doing that one? Do you know how you are going to handle that one? What are the problems that I'm going to face? Do you know that? Do you know that? In real world, what is happening? Do you have that? Most of us, we are very away from that. And most of us, what we do nowadays, we do deal with the numbers, commercial, interim payment application, interim payment certificate, subcontractor payment. We all are focusing into that mostly. We need to diversify, or maybe we need to divert ourselves from that to another one, because with the mindful that I'm going to be a chartered. So I need to have an experience in order to go and act as a manager or maybe director for a team. So this platform today, inshallah, we're going to go through certain stages. In fact, factual days or factual procedure in terms of procurement, how people are doing a tendering. Okay, so we're going to go through roughly around 10 or 11 stages, and I'm going to tell you each and everything, why we are going to do and what we are going to do. Right. So the next slide that I'm going to explain to you all. Right. Let me go to presenter view. Let me share. Give me a minute, guys. Right. So let me go to the next slide in which we're going to learn the very first fundamental element. What is procurement and what is tendering? I'm not aware about your understanding about and your knowledge and everything. But most of the time when I speak with people, when I speak with, my students or maybe other people working with me, I do ask them, very often they speak about, oh, we are currently doing some kind of procurement. Oh, we are doing some kind of tender. We are doing some kind of procurement work. So time to time they do speak without knowing that procurement and tendering, they are completely different elements. What is that? Procurement and tendering? They are completely different elements, right? First, before we dive into the process, we need to understand what is procurement and what is tendering. When we speak about procurement, understand that procurement is a bigger picture about not only dealing with or receiving the document, but also it's a big project or big scenario about sourcing, selecting, and contracting a work. So remember that when we speak about a project, in the project, what you need to do, you need to think about how I am going to complete this project. So what are the thinkings or what are the elements that you're going to do? You're going to think about who will do the design, right? Whether a client going to do or the contractor going to do. Or you will think about how the design will be executed. And you will think about how the work will be executed. You will think about the contractor whom I'm going to bring. He is only going to do construction, or maybe he's only going to do the concrete work, or maybe I'm going to ask him to do all the mechanical work, other works, ABC, XYZ work, right? And also you will think about, okay, after I awarded the work to him, other than the construction, how I'm going to close the contract. Right? Many things you will think about it, if I'm not wrong, right? So starting from the design, starting from the selection of the person, think about bring the person to the board, think about pay the contractor, and think about closing the contract and sending home. So many things that you will think about it. So from that point to completing the project, many things you will think about it and bringing that into a one place, we call it as a procurement. We call it as a procurement. However, inside that procurement, we have another element. Only you thought about procurements and everything. You thought about many elements. In that, while you are thinking about entire work I need to do, one specific small work that you need to do, what do we call that? We call that as a tendering or tender. In it, what you're going to do? Yes, you are going to invite the contractor and give the document to him and ask him to price certain contractor, 4, 5, 10, 20 contractors. Ask him to price it, and he is going to price that or give the document back to you. And using that, you're going to evaluate and come to a conclusion who is the best person for this project. Okay? Only that activity. Think about that, guys. Let's give a minute for Adan, please. Okay, so let's continue. Thank you for allowing me to stop for that. Right, okay. So when you speak about tendering, guys, as I said earlier, procurement is a big picture. In it, you need to think about how to do the procurement, how to do the tendering, how to do the contracting, what type of form of contract we need to select. It's a big picture. However, inside that, we have a very small area we call a tender, which is a process of giving the tender document to a person. The person will go through that. Between that, there will be many processes, and he will price it and give that back to you. And you are going to evaluate it. Up to that point, we call that as a tendering. So when you talk next time with your friends or maybe someone else, be mindful. So don't tell that one we are doing procurement. If you are doing procurement, speak about procurement. Procurement is a very big, vast area. But tender mean you receive the document, you as an estimation engineer, or maybe you as a senior quantity surveyor, you receive a tender document and you are pricing for it. Then we call it as we are doing a tender. Okay? Or maybe you are doing some kind of tender. Remember that. Okay, the proper tender is a small area considering the big chunk of procurement. Right. So very first stage, you all need to understand that very first stage, okay, when we speak about tendering, guys, the very first stage, you need to think about preparing your document. Preparing your document. Ask me, what document should I need to prepare? I'm going to go for a tender, so I have a drawing. I will give that to him. Then he will prepare and bring that back to me. Is that your case? No, that's not. So before you think about going for a tendering, start your tendering process. You need to make sure that you have all the tender documents. What do you have, guys? You need to make sure that you have all the tender document. So you need to make sure that you have all the tender document to start your work. Ask me, what are the documents? There are many documents. There are many documents. All those documents, we do have a very certain specific standard names. You can change it. There are no restriction in that. You can change the name. But however, in the industry, we do call them with a certain standard names. The very first document, we call it as an instruction to tender. How many of you have heard or maybe worked with that or prepared? How many of you have? Instruction to tender. They do call it ITT. How many of you heard or maybe you worked ITT? If no, tell me no. Okay. ITT, yes. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Why do you prepare the document? What's the purpose of the document? Right. Someone said yes, right? You heard about it. What's the purpose of the document? Why do we use it? Why do we need that? Remember, when we speak about tender, you can't tell the person who is going to price for the document, who is going to do the tenders and everything. You can't explain to him each and every activities that he needs to follow. You can't tell him that you need to come, dear bidder, you need to come to our office and you need to collect the document from our office and you need to stamp all the pages and you need to make sure that you are going to take the document back to your home and after 3 weeks you need to send it back to us and in the letter that you need to put the name of Muhammad Shawn so thing and when you return that one we should reach the document or receive the document 20th of April before 4 o'clock. Do you think that one for each and every bidders you can tell this one? Right? And after you mention everything, what is the record or where is the record? The person can come and tell that one later, oh, right, didn't you tell that one April 26? I thought that one you said 26, that's why I'm submitting 26. They may come and manipulate whatever the things that you mentioned. So what you need to do when we speak about doing a tender, or if you are going to ask the people to price for something, the very first thing that you need to prepare a document called instruction to tender, or sometimes people call that information to tenders. So where you are going to prepare a very nice document. In this document, you're going to tell everything about tender procedures. What you're going to tell? Everything about tender procedure. For an example, you're going to speak about why we need this tender. Why we need this tender, right? What is the purpose of tender? Why I'm going to do that? And what are the scope? What the scope through this tender? What scope I'm calling? So I'm calling certain subcontractor or suppliers or whoever you are. Why I'm calling you all? And also, I'm going to tell about what are the document that you are going to submit or you are going to receive. I'm going to give you A, B, C, X, Y, Z listed document. Yeah. And I'm going to tell him, right, after I provided all the tender document, maybe if you want to come and see the site before you price it, how you need to do that site visit. Yeah. And also when you prepare your tender, maybe you may receive some kind of question. It's very common, right? I receive some document. I can't price by that just seeing all the document. I can't price it. What I need to do? I need to go for a tender and I need to ask some clarification, maybe some kind of conflict or maybe unknown information or new information. So what I need to do? I need to get some information from him. So if you have such a preparation, such an issue, how you are going to contact us? Do you think that one you need to tell all these informations to the people's guys? Do you think that one you need to tell all this information for the person who is going to come and price for you? Of course. And also you need to tell the guy, right, after you complete it, okay, we will give you 3 weeks for you to price the document. And throughout the period, if anything, okay, come back and ask us. This is the procedure. If you want to ask anything, this is the procedure you need to follow. And after you complete it, within 3 weeks, on this date, for example, 20th of April, 4 o'clock, before that time, you need to send that document to us with the name of or so and so thing. Or you need to put all the document inside a small envelope and put that name as a confidential with the name of ABC and send that to us. So what you need to do? You need to provide certain information for us. For example, my current project, we are doing one of the regional largest project, private projects. So in that, we are doing many tenders. So for that, what we did, we say that one, you need to prepare the document and you need to prepare all your tender within so and so date. And what you need to do, you need to send the document to us with the address of ABCXYZ. We mentioned the people whom you need to send because they are going to be confidential informations, right? So I don't want them to send a document where that can be reached or that can be, approachable for all the people, where all of them, oh, this contractor submitted 2 million. That contractor 7 million. Oh, he will not, the word of mouth will spread something like nothing. So when we speak about tender, when they return the tender, there should be a very confidential information and they need to make sure that what time, when, whom, what is the address, everything they need to mention in that document. So what do you need to do? You need to prepare a very first one, a document called instruction to tender or maybe information to tenderers. The one who's going to price, you're going to tell them, guys, these are the information for you. When you need to collect the document, where you need to collect the document, how you need to collect the document. And if throughout the tender process, if you have any question, how you need to raise that to us. If you're going to visit the site to have more information about the site, what I'm pricing and what is the real picture of the site or maybe area, come visit, but how you need to visit. And once you completed and everything, how are you going to submit that to us? So all these items you need to explain in a document, right? Before you think about how to do the tender, you need to make sure that you have this document. That's a very fundamental. Without that ITT, you can't float the tender, you can't do the tender. Simple as it is. What do we call that? Without ITT, instruction to tender, You can't do a tender. Of course, you can do some kind of, known person, call that guy, he's your supplier, you are a subcontractor, or maybe he's your subcontractor, you are a subcontractor, you call him and say that one, he is the only one good contractor that he's working with you, subcontractor. Call him and say, oh, I'm going to send you a BUQ and a couple of documents. Can you please price and send that to me? That's different. Okay, but when you go to a market and try to find the best and well good contractors who's going to price for your project, this is what you need to do. What you need to do? This is what you need to do. So the very first document, what you need to prepare, guys, what do we call that document? What do we call the document? Instruction to tender. For you all to understand what are the information that you need to mention. I have mentioned all the documents here. You can go through them. Okay, you all will receive the presentation, okay, PPT as a PDF. So you can go through if you want throughout the document. Okay, so ensure that before you start to think about floating the tender, do I have an instruction to tender document? That's very important. So once you prepare that, is that all? Is that all? No. So that instruction to tender, it's a very simple document compared with other document that you need to collect. So instruction to tender, the information that I provided, guys, they are very extensive for big projects. For a small project, you can shorten them. You can remove unwanted item. So once you prepare the ITT, you are going to put that aside, and now you're going to think about what are the other documents that I need to collect to send that to the bidders. So let's say I have a 20 bidders whom I need to give guideline how the tender will be executed. Okay, that's what we call ITT. Then in accordance with that, or after that, there should be some other document for the contractors to go through and come back to me with a good price. So the very first one, you need to prepare certain document. We call it as a normally, okay, normally it depends on the parties. Normally, we do categorize the document into volume. Okay. In some companies, they will, or some client make it as a book. Book number 1, book number 2, book number 3, book number 4, something like that, they will categorize. Or maybe you can categorize some folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, as you want. But most of the time, that will be categorized as a volume. How are they going to categorize that? As a volume. So when you speak about volumes, the very first volume that you need to prepare, you need to collect the document and you need to prepare that a small information about what kind of conditions of contract that we are going to sign. Yeah, the contractor or the bidders who is going to price for that, he will put the prices and everything. But later he will come back to you and say that one, oh, you have conditions of contract. Do you want me to sign terms and condition? I'm not aware about that. I was not aware about that. Right? So what you need to do, you need to put certain documents, contractual document into one volume. In that, what you're going to put? You're going to put something like what is our general conditions of contract. We are following FIDIC Red Book, for an example. So what you need to mention? So you need to tell about FIDIC. We are following FIDIC 1999. Right? You need to put a copy of the document. Normally we don't put that. Or in a paper, you need to mention one paper, right? Our general conditions of contract, FIDIC 1999 Red Book. And also you need to tell him, not only that, right? You need to tell him, yeah, what are the changes I need to make to the general condition? We all know that FIDIC is a standard terms and condition which was introduced by one of the institute. So don't think that that standard terms and condition can suit for all the project. So what they need to do, each and every client, certain terms and condition in the contract, he will change that. How he is going to change? Through what document? What do we call that? What do we call that? So there is a terms and conditions called FIDIC Red Book or whatever it is. Then client wants to include that. So client will bring that terms and condition. And from that terms and condition, he needs to change. Oh, In this FIDIC Red Book, original standard form I purchased online, it says that the client will pay the contractor every 56 days. But this client thinks, no, 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 I'm not going to pay 56 days. I'm going to make it 90 days. How he can change? He can take the FIDIC and cut, make it cross. Okay, 90 days, he can make it. How he can make? Very good. What he can do? He needs to prepare another document telling that changes to the original standard FIDIC 1999. What do we call that? Changes, right? I have a document. I have a standard terms and condition which was prepared by FIDIC institution. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change certain clauses in it, right? So I'm going to prepare another document that we call particular conditions of contract. What do we call that? Particular conditions of contract. So I'm going to collect certain contractual document first. I'm going to collect the general conditions. Normally, you are not going to put the FIDIC inside that. What you will do? You will make a small paper. In the paper, you will mention the general conditions of the project is FIDIC 1999 Red Book, because it's freely available, or maybe the contractor can buy it. And one paper I will put that. And another document, small document I'm going to prepare. In that document, I'm going to put all my changes. Okay, payment, this clause number 13 point so and so thing, change it to this. Clause number 14.2, changes to this. Clause number 8, these are the wording should be changed. This one should be deleted. This one should be included. So all my changes and everything, what I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare through a small booklet, 5 pages, 6 pages, whatever the clauses that you want to change, you're going to put that and you're going to name that as a particular condition. So I have a general condition which was prepared by FIDIC. And in addition to that, specifically, particularly, I want to change A, B, C, X, Y, Z item in this general condition. So I have prepared a small list of item what I want to change. So I'm going to combine them, right? And also, I want this contractor to come to the project, and we all know that one as a construction industrial personnel or commercial people, right? Once we enter into the project or maybe contract, we need to submit a performance bond, or maybe some kind of bonds, or maybe some kind of insurances or other things that I need to provide that to the client, right? Do I need to provide that? Yes, because if any problems come or any issues come or maybe any concern come, right? The client's going to come and handle that. He does not want to handle that problem later, think about it. No, now he wants to think about it. Any problems come, okay, I'm going to take the money from the bank or ABC or XYZ. So he wants you as a bidders, right? If that project going to be awarded to you, he wants you to be aware about what are the bonds you need to provide, and in that bonds or maybe in that insurance, what are the terms and conditions, each and every words that you need to include. Do you think that one, the terms and condition, or maybe the bonds and insurances that you all are submitting to the client, it was prepared by you or maybe insurance company? Do you think that? No. That was prepared by who? Employer. He is the person who is the owner of the project. So he will put, if you're going to go and take insurance, you need to take insurance for car insurance. You need to take insurance for fidelity. You need to take insurance for workers' compensation. You need to go and take insurance. He will list down the insurance. Not only that, he will tell you what are the wording that you need to include in the insurances. What are the wording that you need to include in the bond, right? So because it's project. So how he is going to provide all this document to you? Of course, he is going to prepare a specimen or templates. He's going to tell that, okay, this is how the bond should look like. The bond should have so and so information. These are the clauses. Only the gaps will be filled by you at the time of obtaining insurance. So when we speak about volume number 1, you're going to collect majority of the contract related, terms and condition related documents. So you will collect collateral warranty. Or maybe I don't know how many of you are learning RICS APC. If you are learning APC, you must be aware about these kind of terms. Okay, right. You you will prepare a small collateral warranty. You will prepare a small parent company guarantee. You will prepare bonds templates. You will prepare all your changes required for your FIDIC condition. You will make a small paper in one white sheet. You will put that our general terms and condition ABC, right? Form of agreement. Many of you have, you might have gone through a document called form of agreement, right? What is that? What is this document? What is this document? What is this form of agreement? How many of you got to know what is form of agreement? Okay, if a form of agreement is a contract, then what is particular condition? What is general condition, FIDIC? What is that? Standard form, 1 or 2 page agreement, application of agreement. So remember, guys, the both parties should have a small agreement signed by both parties where they are going to tell that we as a Muhammad and you as a John, we two are signing a contract to execute the construction of ABC building. And this building, I'm going to pay you 200 million. And you are confirming that you will execute the work and complete the work in accordance with the attached drawing specification ABC document. And we both are agreeing for these terms and condition, and both of them will sign. Do you think that one you have a space for these parties to sign in FIDIC? And where you are going to tell FIDIC is your conditions of contract? Where? Inside the FIDIC, you're going to tell this is our terms and condition? Or you are going to tell that one, oh, we are following FIDIC as our terms and condition inside the FIDIC? No. So normally, there will be a small 2 or 3 pages agreement. All the contract, you will have it. Okay, there will be a 3 or 2 pages agreement. In that one, both parties will agree. Both parties mean the client and the contractor will agree. Okay, we both are, I, Muhammad, and he as a John, we both are agreeing that the work is ABCXYZ and the contractor will complete the project in 365 days. And I'm confirming I will pay him 200 million to complete ABCXYZ. And we both are agreeing our conditions of contract is general condition FIDIC 1999 amended by particular condition attached with this agreement. So that's what we call agreement, contract agreement. So you will prepare that template also, right? Without putting the names and everything. You don't know whom you are going to award it. So to give a knowledge, what are the terms and conditions I'm going to include in my contract agreement, you are going to prepare that one also, and you will collect all these contractual documents, okay? And specimen, templates, everything, and you will put those documents into one item called what? Volume. What do we call that? Volume. Okay, so the first one, volume number 1, you will collect all these documents. Maybe you're a subcontractor, main contractor, consultant. No, it's not a problem. So you need to collect all those items and you need to prepare that element. So we are speaking about volume number 1. We are speaking about volume number 1. So volume number 1 is collecting the item, and all of them going to be contractual item. Here I have mentioned all the contractual items, right? So you're going to collect them and put them into a small folder. All of them will be there. That's what we call volume number 1, tendering and contract document. Okay, that's your first document. So the first document, we prepared what? What is the first document? What is the first document that we prepared? The very first document that we prepared, what? Very good. What is that? ITT. What do we call that ITT? Karmesh, how come specification? We learned that. What is the first document that we're going to prepare? Very good. We call it as a ITT, instruction to tender. What is the second document that we're going to prepare? Or we're going to ensure that we have it? What is the second document? Or second set of document? Volume number 1, what is that? Tender and contract documents. Very good. So remember that the very first one, you need to make sure that you have instruction to tender. The second one, that you have collected all the contractual document, including the specimen, templates, form of condition, ABC, XYZ, everything you have collected. Then the third one that you need to think about, collecting volume number 2, normally volume number 2 or book number 2. In that, what do you include? You are going to include what? Specification and the employer's requirement. So first volume, you collected the tender document. So the second one, you're going to collect specification and employer's requirement. Mostly, you're going to do nothing in it. Mostly, you will do nothing. Almost 95% you will do nothing. I don't want to go detail into that. Of course, sometime you as a commercial person or maybe procurement person or maybe tender manager or maybe commercial manager, you need to prepare one document. For example, the project which I worked, I prepared a document called SOPR, one specification, small specification that speaks about general. So our client prepared one and we received that and I updated and prepare for that, suitable for that project. Okay, put that aside. So most of the document, for example, in your building, you have motor. Okay. What is the size of motor? In the drawing, when we speak about drawing, in the drawing, you might have mentioned, or you may mention that this is our location and the shape of the building. And here we have a motor. What is the size of the motor? What is the size of the motor? This motor should be made from where? Are you, or you as an owner of the building, right? After they completed, you are the owner. Do you want very specific brand? Or do you want this item to be produced or manufactured from somewhere else? Where you are going to mention all this information? In the drawing? Are you going to mention in the drawing for each and everything? Window, door, marbles, tiles. Are you going to mention everything in the drawing, guys? I need a motor roughly around 10 kilowatt or maybe 100 ampere, made in German, made in German, and that should be 2026 model, and that should be so and so thing, white color. Where are you going to mention that? So in the drawing, you can mention that there is a motor. The motor should be installed in this location, but the specifications and everything, of course. So for that, the designer, the one who designed that, he will prepare a document called specification. Whatever the item that we have in the drawing, what are the requirements of each and everything? For example, if it is a motor, what is that? If you're going to do a concrete work, how you need to do. If you're going to do a block work, how you need to do. If you're going to do a quality control, how you need to do. If you're going to do a painting, how you are going to do. Right? In the drawing, I can mention that one. Oh, this wall is completely painting. Okay, I'm going to mention that one, painting. But how to apply painting? What color it should be? And what is the way of applying painting? So there should be a document. And that document should speak about how each and every element of your project will be and how your contractor should execute the work. Right? So that document we call specification or employer's requirement. Employer wishes, right? What he wish, what he wants. That's what we call employer's requirement or specification. So what client wants and what is the specification, what is the size of the motor, from where they need to provide. Everything will be mentioned in one set of documents. It's not going to be one document. Huh? So one document will speak about mechanical equipment. Another document will speak about electrical equipment. Another document will speak about concrete element. Another document will speak about, let's say, artwork. So for each and every element of the building, there may be a specification telling that each and every item, how that should be, that we call specification. So remember that in my drawing, I just mentioned a motor. I'm giving more detailed information about the motor. I'm giving more detail about more detail about the motor. So in your opinion, which document do you think that should be very important? In the drawing, I just highlight there is a motor. Another document specification, I'm telling that one, the motor should be 10 kilowatt or maybe 100 ampere or so and so thing. That should be manufactured from German, and that should have ABC XYZ requirement. Input is 8.9 kilowatt, output should be 8.5 kilowatts. So you are mentioning a detailed information in one document. In your drawing, you just mention here, this is the place where you will install the motor. So from these two, which document from your understanding very important? Very important, which one is that? Very good. Very important, this specification, right? So after you prepare the contractual document, you need to pay attention to find the specification, entire specification that you need to give that to the contractor. If you, for an example, if you see this one, it speaks about, okay, what you're going to do. What is the work that you're going to do? And also, what kind of submission? If you're going to submit the document, how you need to submit. If you want to submit some kind of quality, how you are going to control the quality. If you're going to do some kind of decorative metal work, how are you going to do? If you're going to do carpentry work, how are you going to do? If you're going to do some kind of joint sealant work, how are you going to do? Interior glassing, how are you going to do? What is the specification? How you need to install? How that should be? What is the thickness should be? What is the gap should be? What type of sealant you need to apply? So all this information will be mentioned. That document called specification. Of course, that document should take priority because it provides you more detailed information about the item. So you need to pay attention as a third document to collect all the specification from whom? Who's going to provide this? Who's going to provide this? Who will prepare it? As a commercial person, are you an expert in it? Who should provide this? Very good. That should come from the client, but who prepares that? The consultant, design consultant who designed that building, he must have prepared that document. So you are not going to put any effort. You will collect the document and ensure that all the item related specifications we have and put that inside a folder. And that folder you will call volume number 2. So we learn first item called, what is that? ITT. The second item, volume number 1, tendering and contracting document, contract document. Volume number 2, we call it as a specification and employer's requirement. Volume number 3, where we are mastering it. We all are mastering it. That's what we call a BOQ. A BOQ. We all know that BOQ, right? What is that BOQ? What is that BOQ? It's a, what is that? BOQ is what? BOQ is bill of quantity. I'm sorry. My question is wrong. So what is BOQ? Bill of quantities. What is bill of quantities? What kind of information that you're going to get from that? See, you prepare the drawing, right? You prepare the specification of the items mentioned in the drawing. And also you need to count how many motors I have in my building. And when contractor prices for your building, you need to make sure that he is correctly pricing my building. And also, even before the client float, or maybe you as a main contractor or you as a subcontractor, before you float the document to the market and ask the price people to price it, you must aware how much it may cost, right? Do you think that one, you need to have a mindful idea how much my project may cost? Even though I'm going to ask the people to price it, I need to have a complete idea how much it may cost, right? So how are you going to come to know that by seeing the drawing, oh, this will 2 million. Oh, this specification 10 million, so 12 million. Is that how you're going to come to the number? So what you need to do in your drawing, as well as using your specification, okay, we have a motor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motor, and this motor from German, that motor from Japan, and this motor is 10 kilowatt from Spain. So I'm going to list down the motor number 1, motor number 2, motor number 3, what are the requirements and how much it may cost. So first I want to know, before I go to the market and get to know that how much it's going to cost me, I want to know, right, how much it may cost me if I'm going to go to market, first of all. The second, I need to give the document to someone else, where if I'm going to give him 5 people, okay, I gave him 5 people drawing as well as specification. I did not give BOQ. I gave these 2 documents for 5 people. Do you think all 5 people will come with the same quantity, same description, demolition, for an example? Okay, demolition. Do you think that these 5 conductors will come back to me? So demolition is measured in cubic meter, cubic meter, cubic meter, cubic meter. Do you think that all 5 people will come same? Or maybe demolition as an item. Do you think that all 5 people will come back to me same? If not, how I am going to compare them? Who is best? One person say demolition entire item 1 million. Another person say demolition cubic meter 5,000 riyal. Another person said linear item so and so thing. How you can compare? So you may think that cubic meter 5,000, right, that will be cheap. When you go and measure, that may go up to 10 million maybe, right? So how are you going to compare that? So what you need to do, you need to prepare a standard document. In that document, you're going to put, using your drawing as well as your specification, you're going to put number of quantities of each and every item, how much it's going to be. So when you give back to the people, 5 people, it will be uniform, all of them. Or he is also going to price for a demolition cubic meter or maybe item. And he's also demolition item, demolition item, demolition item, demolition item. Why? You prepared and put that, okay, demolition should be measured as an item, done, done, done. Right? So when we speak about the tender document, so you need to prepare ITT, then volume number 1, then volume number 2, then volume number 3. You need to think about a document which is going to allow the contractors, all of them, price a uniform manner, in an uniform manner. So that's what we call BOQ. So normally, if you are a main contractor, you might have already received BOQ from the client. So let's say you're going to ask the supplier or subcontractor to price for a small concrete work. So you will extract that BOQ and give that to him, or put that inside the folder, a folder name called volume 3. Yeah, 4th folder, you're going to name it volume 3. Inside that you will put BOQ. Or maybe that work is a new work. You will prepare a small BOQ using POMI or maybe NRM2 or maybe SESAM 3.4. You'll prepare it and small BOQ Excel file, put that inside and give that to the bidders. For example, while I was working for Taif Airport, I prepared using SESAM 4 a BOQ, entire BOQ for the slab casting. So I prepared it quickly because we were contractors. I was a contractor, and the client said that I need to do ABC XYZ work. Unfortunately, we don't have BOQ for that item. So I prepared SESAM 4 using SESAM 4. I quickly prepared the BOQ, and we included that within the tender document for our subcontractors to price. So similar to that, when we speak about preparing the tender document where you're going to give that someone else to price it, you need to make sure that volume number 3 will be filled with BOQ. When we speak about BOQ, we all know that when it depends on the BOQ standard method of measurement. We have POMI, very common in the region. We have SESAM 304. We have NRM 2. These are the 3 major nowadays. Yeah, principle of measurement within bracket international, civil engineering standard method of measurement 304, new rules of measurement number 2, RICS. Okay, these 2 by RICS and this is by ICE. Okay, these are the 3 major types of method of measurement still being used within the region. Okay, RICS is stopped. SMM, standard method of measurement, which was introduced by RICS long time back. RICS say that one, don't use that. I have introduced NRM to go and use it, don't use SESM. So they have already stopped that document. Okay, so using these documents are standard. You can go and find it in the market, or maybe in the PDF way, you can find it. So these documents will guide you how to prepare BOQ. It's very simple. It's very simple. Find one BOQ format where you try to open that one. They will tell that one, okay, if you are going to measure a concrete should be measured all the area. And if you identify any void, small gaps like less than 1 square meter, avoid that. Other area, measure all of them. And that should be priced in cubic meter. And if you're going to measure A, B, C, X, Y, Z, so all the item measurable in a building, they provided a list, and they are telling that in what is that unit you need to measure. You only need to do what? You need to take the drawing. Okay, they're telling that concrete, all the concrete should be measured. Any holes less than 1 square meter we need to avoid. Okay, I'm going to put my cursor, measure the concrete area, all the bits and pieces, and I'm going to put all together. And I identify 2 places less than 1 square meter of holes. I'm going to deduct that from that. Okay, this is the total concrete area. Finish. Right? So similar to that, for there are many items based on each and every element that you're doing. So you're going to collect them and you're going to put them into a small folder. That folder we call BOQ, not folder, an Excel file. We call it as a BOQ. And you're going to prepare that BOQ and put that inside another folder. Name it volume 3. That's what we call volume 3 BOQ. And after you prepare that, careful guys, after you prepare that, you need to make sure that you are supplying, or maybe you are sharing the same document for all the contractors. Why? For all the bidders, you are sharing the same. Why? Why you need to make sure that you are sharing the correct and same document? Why? Very good. First of all, transparency, and very importantly, to compare. Very good. To compare. If you're not going to provide the same document, of course, each and everyone will submit whatever the things that he wants, or maybe different. Maybe in one document you put square meter, cubic meter. Another revision you prepared, linear meter, square meter, and so on so thing. So if you're going to share wrong document to the people, make sure that they're going to come back with a different opinion. So when you put inside the BOQ, make sure that you have placing the final document inside that. Okay, so we all know that one. So you're going to prepare a BOQ and you will put that inside the volume number 3. Mostly, if you work for a client or consultant, the BOQ will be prepared by cost consultant. Mostly, that will be provided or prepared by who? Cost consultant. So he will provide you and you are going to just drop that inside the folder. But if you are main contractor or subcontractor, sometimes you need to extract from the existing BOQ, or maybe you may need to prepare it. As I said earlier, for Taif Airport, I prepared that, a small area of concrete. So I prepared and I dropped it. So similar to that, you may need to prepare sometimes. Sometime you already have, you just need to extract that portion and put that inside the folder. Okay. Right. And the other 3 documents, of course, you will collect all the drawing from the designer. Your designer will provide you all the drawings while you already prepare the BOQ using those drawings, right? So you are going to collect all the drawing and put that inside a folder. So when we speak about that, that folder may have, for an example, it's your building. So that may have, what is that? Inside that, you may have certain item. You may have, for an example, let's say architectural drawings, almost 2000 drawing maybe. Another folder inside it. Then you have a structural drawing. You may have 1500 drawing. Or maybe you may have MEP, 2000 drawing. All these drawings were prepared by the designer. So what you're going to do? You're going to collect all of them with a registry. with the log. You see here? So we have a log. So all the drawings, they have listed all the drawing and their name, and also when they issued and what kind of information they have included. Have they issued that for other pages? Have they issued for other team? So it's a log. Why they are using, when they prepared, how did they come to the conclusion. So everything, revision number 0 or 1 or 2 or 5, everything they have prepared, that will be mentioned in the log or register. So you will put that, and also all the drawings related, architectural, structural, mechanical, ID, or maybe whatever it is, you're going to put that into a folder and you will make it as a volume number 4. In addition to that, soil report, groundwater report, right? Or soil report of the building construction place. So you're going to construct in a place. So the contractor going to construct a massive building. So the contractor should know whether the land is enough to carry the load, right? So you as a client have an obligation to check the site and tell the client, or tell the designer, tell the contractor, dear contractor, yes, we check the land. Land is much enough to carry the load. So please find a report. This report says in our building, for an example, okay? In our building land area, here we have water. Here we have rock. Here we have mud. Here we have ABC, XYZ. So you will have a report. That report tell everything. That report will tell everything about whether we have mud, whether we have water, whether we have ABC, XYZ. For example, while I was working for Mall of Saudi, we prepared one, we mean the designer prepared one soil report. In that, it says very specifically what you have, where you have. After the report, at the time of execution of the project, the contractor identify additional findings, some kind of water pockets, right? Inside the land, there will be a small water pocket where the water will stuck within that area, only small area. So that area, they identify that later at the time of execution, right? So similar to that, there will be many information in it. All those information will be mentioned in about the land and the soil that will be collected and put that inside. That what we call soil report. That's what we call soil report. And finally, there will be another volume, volume number 6, that's what we call any other document. For an example, my current project, we prepare a master program. What's the meaning of master program? Originally, our contract is something like a 34 packages. So the client said, I'm going to bring a main contractor, and under the main contractor, I'm going to select main mechanical contractor. I'm going to select the ID contractor. I'm going to select the facade contractor. I'm going to select ITAV contractor. I'm going to select and nominate that to the main contractor. So what we did, we as a PMC, we prepare a lengthy program. Tell the contractor, dear contractor, initially we award you concrete work only to you. After we awarded to you, from that within 3 months, we will award you facade work. From the award date within 6 months, we will award you ID work. From the award date within 7 months, we will award you MEP work. So we need to prepare a big master program for each and every work when that will be awarded to you, or when we will release that work to you. You need to have it. Or maybe milestone. You need to tell the contractor, dear contractor, for your project is 30 months. However, from the start, you need to complete your work of the concrete within the next upcoming 16 months. And after you completed that, then within 3 months, the 19th month, you need to complete all your facade work. After you completed your facade work, there should be a wild air. There should be a closure of the building. There should be a painting, ID. So all these, what you're going to do? You're going to prepare a milestone in that you're going to mention that one, these are the days. For an example, for all the packages that I'm leading, we prepare a milestone. Even today also, I receive one milestone for signage packet. In that we mentioned that signage engineering from the award date, you need to complete within 3 months. And approval and sample approval, you need to get the sample approval within 4 months from the award, from the award within 4 months. And you need to start and complete your installation within 11 months. What did we do? We said start and do some major activities and when you need to complete. So I'm going to prepare a milestone related to this tender I'm going to do and put that inside volume number 6. And there will be maybe many other volumes. So if you want, you can make milestone as a volume number 6, master program as a volume number 7, or maybe delineation matrix, or maybe provisional sum matrix as another package, as you want. But these are the major volumes of document that you need to prepare. So remember that we haven't started the tender yet. Up to now, what we are doing? What we are doing? What we are doing? We haven't started the tender yet. Do you remember that? We are preparing, still preparing the tender documents. Remember that you can't start the tender without preparing the tender document. Keep the document ready. If you call the people, guys, you all are ready to go for a tender for the slab casting? Yes, we are ready. Give the document. Oh, document? I haven't prepared. Wait 3 months. I will come back to you with the document. Is that how you're going to tell? No. So first, what do you need to do? You need to make sure that you have all the documents. First prepare the document and make them ready. So now you prepared all the document and you collected the document and now you have all the document. So now you're going to start to think about going for an actual tender. Going for the actual tender. So doing tender, after you collected the document and put that, doing tender should be followed in a certain procedure. The very first procedure, what you need to do, you need to do a pre-qualification. What you need to do, guys? We call it as a pre-qualification questionnaire, PQQ. What you need to do, not all the client, right? Not all the clients allow you to go and ask anyone to price it and give the price for my project. The clients are very specific. They will tell that, yeah, I want someone to do my project, but I don't want anyone to come and do my project. So I have a prestige and I have a certain requirement. If someone's going to come and do my project, they need to have a 20 years of experience in the construction industry. They must have completed 100 billion worth of project in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or wherever it is. And they need to make sure that they have completed something similar to my project previously. So the client will tell that I need a pre-qualification. I bring someone who has so ABC XYZ qualification. He will tell that. So what I am going to do, you as a main contractor, if you want to go for a tender, your management also will tell the same thing. All right, you see John or you see Peter, we are a main contractor, we have very good prestige, we need to deliver the project in a very good manner. We are not going to bring anyone to do our work. So please find a good people from the market before you call them for a tender. So what you need to do, you need to shortlist, go to the market and shortlist certain people with their detail. For example, this is one of the tenders. I don't want to disclose that. One of the tender list of people that we collected for certain tender for my project. So we collected their email ID, their designation, responsible person, company name, phone numbers and everything we collected. What we did? We collected 20 people for an example. What we are going to do after we collected, we will go back to the client and we will present that to the client. Dear client, in the market, in order to do the work that you want to award, there are so-and-so shortlisted people available, 20 people, whom you want to go. Then client will come back and say that one, yes, this person, oh, right, I work with this guy, so-and-so project, I don't want him, remove him. I don't want to tell the project name. In one of the projects, guys, I work, I receive a message, email, where they say that one asked me, please don't consider so-and-so contractor for any of our tenders. It's one of the biggest client in the region, I would say. He's from Dubai. And he said, please don't consider this so-and-so person, the company. Why? Maybe they had a bad experience with this guy. Or maybe they don't want him to come and see their project. Maybe some kind of personal relation, personal, revenge or something like that. We don't care about it. But before you invite all these people, you need to prepare a table and go to the client and sit down with the client, let client tick and give you approval. Okay, these are the people I'm selecting to float the tender or to approach about pricing the tender. Okay. But some situation, here you shortlisted 20 people, right? But some situation, if it is a government project or maybe other very specific project, then they will call through newspaper. For example, if you take Sri Lanka or India or whatever the countries, for government project, they will call through newspaper. We are inviting a suitable and well established companies to price for a so-and-so work, which will be started in coming 2026 June. So we want so-and-so minimum criteria, a small newspaper article. Yeah. Or maybe some companies like Aramco, what they do? They do invite people through what? Invite people for tender through what? Online. So there is a vendor registered template, vendor registered portal, and also there is a portal for tender. And through that, they will invite, okay, currently we are looking for bidders to do the ABCXYZ job. Huh? So very first one, when we speak about after you collected and arrange your document, what you need to do, you need to think about selecting a short listed people and get approval from the client. So remember that as I said earlier, you can't go and start it. What you need to do? You need to go and get the client approval before you move to next steps. Once you selected that, what you're going to do, you're going to send an email asking that shortlisted people. So let's say that you shortlisted 7 people. So you have an email ID, right? You're going to send an email to them asking them, do you have interest to participate in our tender? So do you think that when you selected a person, he will be free and waiting for you to receive the tender? Oh, okay, John going to send me the tender. I'm going to wait and price it. It's a very big project. No. And a couple of weeks ago, I issued one RFP, request for proposal, to one consultancy. Okay, I don't want to disclose the name. I sent it to them. I received a reply. Asked me, thank you so much for your invitation for so-and-so tender. Unfortunately, we are very busy. I'm going to come back to you by end of 30th of April. He mentioned a specific date. 30th of April, I will come back to you and tell you. Right? But this is because I approached the client, had a discussion. That's put it aside. So remember that when you shortlist the people, doesn't mean that one they are ready for you to receive the document. No, what you need to do, you need to send an email asking them, are you interested to participate in this tender? So that's what we call EOI, expression of interest. What do we call that? Expression of interest. So for an example, if you see here, we send an email asking that guy. So we sent so-and-so, we are taking for design consultancy work for cover 3 of so-and-so project. And if you have an interest to participate, then we have attached a small document in this. Okay, we have attached a small document in that. Please sign that document and send that back to us stating that, yes, you are interested to participate in this tender. Yeah. So once you shortlisted the people, then you need to send an expression of interest. We call it as an EOI. And in that, you are going to attach a document called NDA. What is NDA, guys? NDA means it's a non-disclosure agreement. Ask me, we haven't provided the document yet. They haven't started the tender. What kind of agreement you are signing at this time? Right? So at the time of asking the guy, do you have interest to participate in our tender? We're going to send one document and ask him to sign. We call a non-disclosure or confidentiality undertaking document. Why do we issue this document? Why do we send this document? Why do we ask that guy to send this, sign this? Before we got to know about him, before we give the document, we're going to ask him to sign it. What's the purpose? You know, you're going to give this guy to price for your project, you're going to give your specification, you're going to give your drawing, you're going to give your soil data, you're going to give many other information, ABC, XYZ. What if this person took this information and leaked it to someone else? What if this person took your information and used that for someone else? Why if this person going to use your information or sell that information for someone else? What will happen? What will happen? That will be one of the biggest disaster. So even before you give any document to him, before you give any contractual drawings, specification, conditions of contract, anything, you're going to send this document and tell that I'm going to give you this small document. In this, you are going to tell as a bidder, you're going to tell that one, I acknowledge ABC company and I'm confirming that any document that you're going to provide me for the purpose of tender will not be disclosed for coming 10 years. What is that? He's going to tell that I'm going to protect the document and keep that very confidential for upcoming how many years? 10 years, maybe times to time. 10 years, 5 years, it depends on the client. So remember, guys, it's not going to be something like you're going to send the document, boom, do that. No. Even before you send the document, you are going to tell him, ask him, you have an interest? If yes, please sign this document. In that document, we're going to tell them, you are not allowed to disclose any information if I'm going to give you document after this. Okay, so that's what we call non-disclosure. You are not going to disclose anything. You are not going to tell any information to anyone. You are not going to put the document into market. You are not going to send the document to anyone else. I'm giving you only for you. You're going to study and price using the BOQ and send that back to me. Okay, so that's what we call non-disclosure agreement. So under the PKQ, what you're going to do, guys? You're going to check the short list of people. Normally, the short list of the people will go from 8 to 6. That's a normal range. But it depends on the client. Right? Maybe if we are going to give 20 people, the client may select 15 people. Client may select 12 people. But most of the time, the shortlist will come around 6 to 8. That's it. Okay, so that's a normal range. So you're going to prepare a shortlist people. Then after you secure the approval of the client, you're going to send an email to those people asking them, do you have interest to participate in it? If yes, you're going to ask him to sign the confidentiality or maybe NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Okay. So once you receive the documents and everything, or maybe asking the people to submit the documents and everything, you will also ask him to submit some detailed information about him. Initially, you prepare a table of 20 people. You went to their website, you checked their website, or maybe you heard about these people, so you listed down. Or maybe you got some name from your friends. Oh, this contractor is doing woodwork, and this contractor is doing woodwork, or this contractor is ABC steelwork. So you're gonna get their information and list them down, and you got some information. However, sometimes, or maybe most of the time, even after you selected and shortlisted the people, client will tell, "Oh, right, John, I'm not confident whether these people are good or not. So I want to see some further information about these people." So he will tell that one, go to these guys. You selected 7 people, right? Or maybe 8 people. You selected 8 people. So go to these people and ask them to provide their financial information. I'm going to give him huge millions worth of work. What if this person took my money and run away? Or maybe after I appointed, or maybe while currently this person is bankrupt. He has an accounts problem. After I awarded, he may take my money and run away. Oh yeah? Or maybe I don't know about this person. This person maybe or might have worked with the project, which is very dangerous project. Or maybe this person previously had a very poor HSC problem. Many people died in his project. You know that one. Many projects you might have heard, especially including Saudi Bin Laden. Yeah. One of the project, the company was shut down because of what? HSC, health and safety issue in Makkah. You all might have heard. So client so curious to know, okay, I want to know what kind of structure, organizational structure of this company. Who is the structure? Maybe CEO, Mr. Muhammad. After him, CFO, John. After that, COO, let's say Peter. After that. So first client wants to know what kind of organizational structure, how many people are there, how many machineries are there, what kind of prestigious project that he worked, right? He will ask you to go further detail into that. For that, you need to prepare a pre-qualification questionnaire, a document. In that document, you need to include that one. Okay, tell the company to provide the introduction about them and ask them to provide their structure and organizational structure and their how many people, machineries and equipments, what they have, resources, and what is their financial status. Last 3 years financial report. Normally in this one we will learn under the RSCS APC there are 3 documents. You need to submit balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow. So you will ask the contractor, you will ask the bidders to submit these 3 documents so I can confirm that you are not lost. Maybe some companies, last 10 years continuously lost their project. So their client may fear, I'm going to give him 200 million worth of project. What if he lost the work? Mm. He's telling that last 10 years he's in a loss. So if I'm going to give my project also, he will tell that, oh, I'm lost. Maybe he may take me to the court or maybe other subsequents or consequences. So I don't want to do that. So what you need to do, you need to prepare a document called PQQ, pre-qualification questionnaire. In that you need to mention and ask the contractor to submit the financial capability and previous relevant experience, what you have done, and what is the number of resources, machineries, people, plant, equipments, and other thing that you have. And tell me how you control your QA/QC. I want to see. Yeah. And how you control the health and safety, I want to see. And while I was working for Aramco, Munifa plant, a client asked us to submit the last 3 year HSC record, including the incident, number of incident, what happened, LTI, how many, ABC, XYZ. Yeah. So similar to that, you need to submit, you need to prepare that document using these content and ask the supplier or subcontractor or main contractor, whoever you are going to go for a tender to provide the information. From that, again, you can shortlist the people. You can make it. Maybe the client tick 8 people. Now you receive the PQQ, and from that one, again, you shortlisted 7 people. Maybe one person is not good because he got some kind of poor financial issues. So you avoided him, and 7 people. You will go back to the client and tell that client, we have received the PQQ filled document, and from that 7 people are okay, right? For an example, while I was working for Metro, the client asked us to issue the PQQ. In that, he said that include one line, ask me, we want to know any projects that they are waiting to be awarded, right? So he wants to see how many projects that he is trying to handle. What is the theme of its estimation? And is he trying to bid some big project and trying to get it? So that one also be included in it. Okay, so that's what we call pre-qualification questionnaire. So now you have selected 7 people and they all of them provided you. What did they provide? What did they provide to you? All these people provide you what? All of them confirm something. What is that? PQQ is an information they're going to provide you, but they confirmed one thing. They confirmed one thing. What did they confirm? Very good. What is that? Guys, you all need to engage. You all need to engage. When we study, when we learn, you need to engage and try to answer, put your answer. Then only you will remember the things that we are learning. Otherwise, it will vanish like in the air. Okay, try to put answer. When I ask question, around 300 people, why only 3-4 answers? So please make sure that you're all going to interactive, right? So what you gonna put? They are going to put NDA. They're going to confirm, right? Yes, I have an interest to participate in the tender, as well as I'm providing you non-disclosure agreement. Right. So now you selected all the people and you shortlisted and they already provided NDA. Now you have NDA, right? You have the NTA. So you already secured the NDA. Now what you gonna do after you receive the NDA? Now you are going to, do you remember that we already prepared the document, which we have learned in our previous slides? How many volumes did we prepare? How many volumes of document did we prepare? What was the first document that we learned? Very good, very good. 6. Very good. 6 volumes. And one more document. What is that? Very good. Excellent. What is the document? Yeah, 6 volume, including one additional document called ITT. Now, what you gonna do? Now you're gonna send an email. Now that's what we call floating the tender. What do we call that? Floating the tender. So now you are going to put all the document into a link, or maybe if you can attach all of them into an email, you can attach that. So you're going to put all the document in WeTransfer, or maybe if you have a share folder, put that inside the share folder and drop all the document and put that in an email where you're going to send that to the company. Tell the company, dear company, we are calling from the client perspective, client side, and as you have already confirmed your expression of interest, you see, as you have already confirmed the EOI, the meaning of that, he confirmed the expression of interest and he signed the NDA. Okay, but considering that, now we are providing you all the tender documents. What we are doing? Now we are providing all the tender documents to you. So make sure that you're going to go through the document and you're going to submit the document, your tender price, back to us on or before 9th of April 2026 at 3 p.m. You cannot be late than this. And also when you submit the document, don't submit that to me. Okay, it's a confidential document. I'm going to list down the people, 2, 3, 4 people, maybe client side people. I'm going to list them down and I'm going to tell that, okay, once you price that and send that to us. And when you send that, these are the people that you need to copy. So this is what we call tender floating. What do we call that, guys? Floating the tender. I have floated. So day before yesterday, we floated the tender. The meaning of that? So before that, I did many work. I prepared the document ITT, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I did for the shortlisted people. I got an approval from the client. I secured the EOI. I secured the NDA. I ensure that I have a PQQ as client requested. Then after that only, I'm going to send an email asking them, thank you so much for your expression of interest. Based on that, I'm providing you the link. Please go to that link and download the document and make sure that you're going to come back and submit the document of tender on or before this. Previously, I mentioned that this detail also will be included in another document. What is the document? I said this will be included in another document. What is the document called? What do we call that? I said when to submit, where to submit, how to submit. Everything will be included in another document. What is that? What is the document we call? What do we call the document? What do we call? ITT. Excellent. What do we call that? That document we call it as an instruction to tenderers document. In that one, we're going to tell all the procedure in that. So normally when you float the tender, you will tell that information. Okay, these are the documents that we are providing to you. And you need to provide or return the tender within 3 to 4 weeks. And also you need to submit your technical proposal, commercial proposal, or any other document required for that. So even though you mention everything in a very detailed manner in ITT, in your email, you're going to put so-and-so information to highlight that again. So you'll put that and tell that you need to provide technical document, commercial document, and supporting document, including ABC, on or before 9th of April at 3 p.m. Right? So you're going to send that document to the contractor. We call that as what, guys? Tender float. You have floated the tender. After you floated, do you think that when the contractor will go back and do the things and come back to you with the price? No. The contractor will definitely have a question. Or you as a main contractor, or you as a subcontractor, or you as a client consultant, you may need to brief him what is this tender about. So you just ask him, do you have an interest to participate in design consultancy tender? But after you provided the document, you need to go and explain to him, tell that, guys, this is the purpose of design. These are the elements that you're going to design. These are the ABC, XYZ that you're going to do. So once you floated the tender, what you need to do, you need to call for a pre-tender meeting. You need to call, or sometimes the contractor will request you. He will tell that one, all right, we have some kind of concern. Even before we start to think about dive into the tender document to price it, we have a concern. Can we clarify that? Okay, they will ask you to provide some space for you, for them to negotiate or for them to discuss it. Then what you will do? You will send an invitation. You will invite the guys, people, and you will tell them this is the time, please come and attend. So I'm going to clarify what are the scope of work that you need to do and what are the risks, or maybe what are the major concerns that you need to consider at the time of pricing, and what are the documents you need to submit, or maybe how you need to submit. I'm going to give an explanation. Yeah, that's what we call pre-tender meeting. I have a big question in it, right? You might have approached 5 people in terms of pre-tender meeting, right? Are you going to call all the people in one meeting and explain to them, so done? Or maybe you're going to do something else. What are you going to do? How are you going to do that? All of them together, individual, all of them together, one meeting, all, yes, one meeting, separate, individual, separately, individual, no individual calling, individual, meet them individually, team meeting, right? It seems like all. Majority of you all are telling that all. But I'm going to ask you one question. What's the purpose of doing tender? What's the purpose of doing tender? To get a very competitive price, right? In order to get a competitive price. What if you call all the people into one meeting, where the people identify that this company is participating, this company is participating, oh, they are also participating. And what if this company tried to get information from that company and try to price, or maybe do some kind of illegal work? What will happen? What will happen? If you're going to call all of them into one pool, one meeting, of course, definitely they will get to know their competitors in the market, and definitely they will get to know that person from that company or this person from this company. Oh, they have invited these people. Then they will try to get their spy inside that company, and they may try to manipulate their price, and they may try to cheat to win the project. Right? So that's going to be a problem. So what you need to do, it's always best or better to make sure that you're going to call these people separately, each and every company separately. Don't disclose them, or don't invite them all together. If you see here, for this design, we invited one company only. Yeah, Champaling. We called one company. We said, you come, this is your time frame. We will give you brief about that. Done. Yeah. Or maybe you can ask them, okay, come, and we gave you the document on this date. It's now 2 weeks from the document provided. Come and tell us what you understood about the project, and we will also give you further information. Yeah. So remember that when we speak about pre-tender meeting, before they submit the tender, you're going to call the peoples and you're going to ask them to explain and give them more clarification, or ask them, what did you understand? Okay, you might have read our scope of work related document. What is your understand about that? So that meeting we call pre-tender meeting. So you will invite them and you're going to give them explanation. Right. Now you gave all the explanations and everything. Do you think that contractor will go back and submit the document back to us? Do you think that? No. Now what will happen? He will go back and open your drawing, open your BOQ, open your specification, and open other document. And now here there will be a problem. Or maybe some information may not be clear for him. So he will come back to you and tell that, dear ABC company, or maybe dear the person who is handling the tender. So he will tell that one, dear main contractor Muhammad, I read the document. In that I identified in the drawing it mentioned that 3 motors, but in the specification it's mentioned that I need to provide 6 motors. Also in the BOQ I identified there are 9 motors. So all of them are conflicting. Can you please clarify that? We call that as a tender clarification. Tender clarification, or maybe tender query. What do we call that, guys? Tender clarification or tender query, or sometimes some companies call that as a tender bulletin. So all these questions will be raised when this will be raised? Tender clarification, the informations or maybe conflict or maybe other issues between the document. When this will be raised to you guys? Very good, very good. So far I'm seeing good answers. Very good. Very good. So when these kind of questions will come to you, when these kind of clarification will come to you, before they submit their bid. When? Before they submit their bid. So time to time, you all know that you have invited 7 people, right? So this person will send you 3 questions. Another person will send you 3 questions. Another person will send you 10 questions. Another person will tell you, send you 100 questions. So now total you identify that you have 137 questions, or tender clarification, or tender queries, or tender bulletins. So what you're going to do, once you receive that, you're going to list them down. You're going to list them down. What are the queries that we have received? Okay. Then after you receive that query, of course, you may identify that there is a technical question, contractual question, commercial question, or maybe specification design related questions. There will be many varieties of question. What you will do? What you need to do? First, what you need to do, you need to log them. You need to record all the question. What is the question? When I receive, what is that what type of question? Everything that it as it is, as you receive from the contractors, you need to collect and put that. So bidder number 1, 5 question. Bidder number 2, 7 question. Bidder number 3, 20 questions. So you are going to put all of them and you will send that to your specialist, subject matter expert. You receive a technical question related to electrical item. Can you answer to that? Absolutely no. So what you need to do, you need to send that back to your electrical team. So electrical team will provide you answers. Similar to that mechanical, commercial, contract, all these people will provide you answers. Then you are going to collect the answer and put them into an order. So you receive the question. So you put the question from that people and you got an answer from your subject matter expert. SME, subject matter expert, you receive the answer and you put that answer to. Now you need to send that back to them, reply to them, right? So a person asks a question about a fan, right? Not other tenders or maybe other people did not ask about it. Only one person asked, right? None of them, or maybe other 6 people, they did not ask about it. So when you reply to this question, how you will reply? You're going to reply to that guy, right? The guy who asked the question, you're going to reply. Am I right? Ah, very good. What you need to do, when you reply to them, you're going to reply the question asked by one person, not only to him. You're going to reply by providing your answer, you're going to reply to all the people. You're going to tell them, first of all, you don't know who's going to win the project. The question is very much legitimate, something that you missed as a client or consultant or main contractor. So tomorrow or day after tomorrow, maybe the person who did not ask the question may win the project. So he will come to the project and tell that one, oh, I was not aware about that. When did he give information about that? No, I answered to this person because he's the one who asked. I didn't. So we don't want that problem. So whenever we receive any question from the people, we call it as a tender clarification or tender queries. When you receive that, you're going to remove all the commercial information. What is that commercial information? The name of the company, or maybe anything that's going to disclose who asked this question, right? Maybe Nesma, or maybe Alganim, or maybe ABC, or maybe Raji Al-Marri, or XYZ company. Don't, sometime, in the queries, they will tell that one, for an example, okay, DEPA will not take this as a responsibility. Or maybe they will tell that one, right, okay, IMAR will not consider this as our responsibility. So that's a question, query. They are telling that they will not take responsibility. You're going to reply to them, no, it is the contractors or bidders' responsibility. So you can't send the query as it is. So you need to remove that. You need to remove that DEPA, IMAR, Alganim, Nesma, Bhavani, whatever it is. You need to remove that name. Don't disclose anything. Very careful. So what you need to do, once you receive the question, any question from anyone you're going to receive, you're going to log them properly and you're going to distribute that to the subject matter expert who is expert to answer to that. Then they will answer. Once you receive that, you're going to send that back to them. Reply with all the bidder without sharing their commercial information. And remember, through these questions, you are answering and giving some information. So ensure that all the question and answer will be considered as your contractual document. Oh, I answered, I don't want that, put that aside. No. What if problems come at later stage that one, oh, at the time of tender queries, I ask you ABC, dear client, you asked me to go to buy this fan. You asked me to go to buy this motor. You asked me to go and buy this glass. Oh, there are no records, nothing. So the contractor will be in trouble, or the subcontractor will be in trouble if it is a main contractor. So what you, as a person who received the tender or the person who is doing the tender, ensure that all the answers, tender queries, tender clarification, tender bulletin, you're going to combine all of them and you're going to put it as a contract document. Okay, that's very important when you do your tender clarification. Right. So when we speak about that, after you receive the tender clarification, it's not going to be one question, guys. There will be many questions. They will come back to you. Every day you will receive question. But you as a main contractor or you as a subcontractor who is dealing the tender or maybe consultant, who you are, you're going to collect, you're going to collect them. And every week maybe, or every 2 weeks, you're going to answer to almost 100 question, 200 question and send that back to them. It doesn't mean that once you receive, immediately answer and send that back to them. No. So you will collect. Some question may take time. You need to go back to the designer. You may go back to the client. You may go back to the main contractor, something like that. So you need to receive the answer, a question you keep receiving every day, collect them, and put them in a log, register, log them. And whatever the possible question that you can answer and send that to all the people. Okay, so that will go through, let's say 3 months duration of the tender. So that will go. Then finally, the contractor going to come and submit the tender submission. So it's, let's say it's 30th of April. So he will come back to you and say, okay, 30th of April 26, he will boom, he's going to come and submit that tender. Once he submitted the document, the client will tell that one, okay, Peter, prepare to open all the tender day after tomorrow. Prepare to open the tender day after tomorrow. I don't want to disclose one document, which is a very confidential document. So that document, so day after tomorrow, let's say 2nd of May, 25, 26, the relevant responsible person will prepare a small form. In that form, he will mention tender opening form. In that, for example, bidder number 1, bidder number 2, bidder number 3, bidder number 4, and how much they have priced. I'm sorry. How much they have priced. So what is their price? So one by one tender, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people, important people will sit down, and in front of them you will open every envelope. That document that you receive, you will open that and you will put the numbers. You will record the number by pen or maybe by typing that. You will put that, and once you open the tender, all these 4 participants, all those 4 people who participated it, right, who participated in the tender will sign it. Okay, for example, John, Peter, Muhammad, Abdullah, they will sign it. They will acknowledge, yes, this tender that was open in front of us, no problem. We all are agreeing this is the number mentioned within the document. So what you gonna do? You're gonna open that and record that information. Sometimes before you open that, you will check some checkup. Okay, what time they submitted? Do you remember that in the ITT you mentioned that you need to submit the document on this day, this time? What if someone submitted after that time? Will you accept that? That's not fair. That's not fair. So what you need to do, if someone did not obey the requirement, for example, while I was working for Aramco, it's a very specific time, whatever the time that you are putting, before you put the document inside the box, okay, tender submission box, there is a time punching machine. You need to put that. So that will stamp the time. Then you need to put that inside, right? So it's very important to ensure that these documents were submitted within the required time frame and everything as we want. So mostly the commercial team or the person who is handling the tender, maybe main contractor, senior quantity surveyor. So once he received the tender, he will ensure that, okay, yesterday 3 o'clock, all of them submitted 3 o'clock. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all of them attach their tender bond. Yes, yes, yes. One person, no. So you will put that aside. You will put that aside. So what you need to do, you need to go and do a compliance check. So you need to check that whether did they submit on time. Do they have priced all the preliminaries? And you need to check that one, whether they have submitted all the tender bond, tender requirement. And was these document was signed by them? Have they attached their company registration? All these kind of document will be checked. Sometime before you open the tender, people will check the preliminary checkup. Submission time. Did they attach everything? We asked them to submit an acknowledgement form. Did they submit so and so thing? Mostly, as we haven't opened the tender, we don't know what we have inside the envelope. Mostly this detail information will be checked when? After we open that, the commercial department, at the time of opening, you are just going to put the number, record the number and sign it. That's it. Okay, most of the time, you can record the number and sign it. After you complete, open that, then now technical team will receive the technical submission of the bidders and commercial team will receive the commercial submission of the bidders, and both of them will start to do their assessment. Now they have received, right? You as a main conductor received. And at the time of ITT, in the ITT, you mentioned you need to submit those document, right? Technical document, A, B, C, X, Y, Z document. And commercial document, you need to submit the bond, you need to submit so and so thing, you need to submit cash flow, you need to submit your financial information, some document. So these two documents you mentioned in the ITT, what you need to submit. So now, after you open the tender, then technical team as well as the commercial team, what they're gonna do? They're gonna sit down and they will list down all the document they requested the contractors to submit. So this is one example, technical team. So they identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bidders for this bid. So they mention, okay, we requested them to submit the construction program. We requested them to submit the method of construction. We asked them to submit organizational chart. We asked them to submit equipment schedule. We asked them to submit health and safety. You see, all the document we requested through ITT asked them to submit that. So have they submitted? So what I'm going to do for an example, okay? For an example, I'm going to allocate total points of 200. And for each and every contractors, I'm going to check their document and I'm going to put my maximum rating as well as marks. For each and everything, I'm going to put each and everything I'm going to put. Right? And at the end, I will come to know who is the best bidder. Maybe this bidder is rank number 1, and this bidder is rank number 2, and this bidder is rank number 3. So for each and every bidders, I'm going to put the ranking and I'm going to send that to the final person who is going to make a report. So I prepare a small report, technical report, and send that to final. Most of the time in the companies, the senior commercial manager, or maybe senior contract manager, or maybe sometime cost consultant. Okay, if you are a main contractor, most of the time you are senior. If you are a senior QS or QS, maybe your manager, or maybe sometime you for your subcontract packages. So you will receive the technical report from your technical team. So they will evaluate each and every their technicality. Similar to that, the commercial team will review, go back and check certain item of them. So they will also check that have they submitted any value engineering? Have they submitted the tender bond? Have they priced for all the preliminaries and general items? Have they signed and submitted the cost for each and every item? Or did they just mention included in all the BOK item and just 10 million price lump, right? So what we need to do? We need to go as a commercial team, as a technical team, and sometime financial team too. Financial team, I don't have a financial document because financial, it's most of the time financial team, they don't want to disclose. And while I was working for Riyadh Metro, we did one, but I don't have record of that. So financial team check about the company, financial stability. I said 3 documents, right? Balance sheet, profit and loss account, P&L account, as well as the cash flow. Using that, they will check the company stability, whether financially they are good or bad. They will check that, and they will also will provide a small report. Okay, and very important, remember, when we speak about commercial evaluation, the person who is checking the commercial, he need to check very carefully in the BOQ, do we have any unpriced item? Very important. So that's what we are doing, right, as a commercial people. So we need to make sure that do we have any unpriced item in the BOQ, or maybe any arithmetical error, or front load. I don't want to go detail into that. When we speak about BOQs, guys, we have 3 types of BOQ: front load BOQ, back loaded BOQ, or spot BOQ. Okay, this is the good BOQ. Okay, if you are doing your maybe ABC, RSS APC, you will learn that, right? So you need to make sure that this contractor is not taking 90% of the money for first 2 months and balance 10 months, he's going to take 10% of the money. That's not right. So throughout the project, of course, he should take the money throughout the project. So make sure that he's not trying to take all the money in front of first 2 months. He put, how he's going to take. First 2 months, he knows what are the work he's going to do, what are the item required. So he will put chunk amount of money of the total amount of money in that. Okay, so you need to offer in the tender and check that whether have they front loaded. Okay, or maybe any abnormally high rate or low rate. For an example, one of the tender which I analyzed, in that tender, the contractor submitted for a labor day work rate. Okay, for a labor, 150 140 real. If I'm not wrong, 140 or 170 real for a labor per hour. Think about it. If he's going to work 8 hours one day, how much? 1,200 real roughly. One day, the labor charge will be 1,200 real. A month, if I'm going to charge or pay any money based on the day work schedule to the contractor, a month that will be 36,000 real. Think about it. So abnormally, some item the contractor or your subcontractor who is returning the tender might have priced higher item. So you need to go and check that one. Similar to that, abnormally low. Maybe one item in the market itself, let's say 25,000. But you identify that he priced 250 riyal. So it's very abnormal. For an example, steel. For an example, okay, structural steel. Let's say 25,000, but he priced 250,000, 250 riyal, which is unacceptable. So you need to do what you need to do while you are doing the technical as well as commercial financial analysis. You also need to check any risk are there within the priced item, BOQs and everything prepared and submitted by the tenderers. Okay, right. When you receive and do these kind of documents, guys, you may have a question. You receive the document, right? Now you may have a question. So previously you gave the tender document to the contractors. Contractor asked question from you, right? So after they ask many questions, you answer all of them. Then they submitted the tender document, and now you have what? Now you have what? You have question. You received their document. Now you have question. Right. Oh, right, dear contractor. We checked that one in your BOQ. You did not price so and so item. Price this so and so item. So what you gonna do? You're gonna put that in a record. You will prepare a document called post tender clarification. We call it as a PTC. PTC. Post tender clarification. After they tendered, after they submitted their queries and everything, I got some question. So I'm going to raise as a main contractor to my subcontractors, or maybe as a subcontractor to my supplier, or maybe as a consultant to the main contractors. Someone I'm trying to obtain main contractor or subcontractor as a bid to me. So I'm going to send a query to them. Right, I am going to tell that, yes, I check your document and I identify that you did not price for a master key. And I check your document, you did not price for an iron mangoris for tower 2. I check your prices and everything, you did not update the material sources. So I'm going to send that to them and the contractor will reply to me. Yes, the employer, sorry, we are confirming that all the material mentioned, the problems and everything, we have resolved, and here find a new attachment. And yes, that's right, we are going to go for ABC item, we change the item. So they will reply to you. So now, after they submitted that, you identify some kind of ambiguities. So you identify some kind of concern. You're going to send that back to them query. We call it as what, guys? Post tender clarification, PTC. So at the time of tendering, while they're estimating, what do we call that? What do we call that? At the time of tendering, the contractor received the document and he sent the question to you. What do we call that? What do we call that? Good. We call it as a TB, TC, or TQ. Tender clarification, or maybe tender bulletin, or maybe tender queries. But after they submitted to you, you're going to send question we call PTC. Okay, that's what we call post tender clarification. So you all now clarified everything. So they submitted the tender. You open the tender. and you clarify those tender, right? You clarify those tender. So after you clarified and everything, or many things that the contractor and yourself when try to clarify and settle to a common ground. So now you're gonna ask the contractor, dear contractor, please submit. Yes, after you submitted to your original offer, and we ask you to provide many clarification, and you also missed in your original tender submission many item. So now we're gonna ask you to submit your best and final offer. Your best and final offer. We're gonna tell you, submit your best and final offer. So they submitted and you check that, you identify many problem, you ask many question, they answer. So now you're going to go back and say, okay, now submit your best and final offer. What do we call that, guys? Before best and final offer. Okay, before, right? He will submit that. So once you receive that, of course, you will go through again and again, again and again. Again and again, then you will find any problem, any concern, any issues. Then again you go back to them and tell that, okay, as we have went through the second round, as we did ABCXYZ, submit me your last and final offer. What you gonna ask him? Last and final offer. Okay, so remember that original tender they submitted, you open, you identify many PTC. After the many communication, you're going to tell him submit your final one. Then you are going to receive that one also. If you're happy, stop from that point. But if you're not happy, then again you will send some queries, ask him clarification. Then you will tell them submit your LAFO, last and final offer. So by doing these 2-3 stage, of course, the people or maybe both parties are understanding the work clearly and they are come to a common very good value. Yeah. And also remember that when you ask repetitively, come to a good number, good number, good number, good number, the party will think about, yes, they are very much interest towards me, and also I can see that when there is a good competition, so I'm going to make my number very good and remove all the problems, so there will be a good clarification, right? I'm going to clarify that to the employer, and I'm going to make a very good document where I have no risk or maybe very less risk. Why? Through the PTCs we have clarified everything. As a client, you wouldn't believe, for some project we have went up to 1,000 question. How many questions? 1,000. 1,000 questions. Think about it. It's a massive number of questions, right? So do you think that one, even after the 1,000 question, his original price, amount, monies and everything will be same? No. Definitely he might have changed many times. So for an example, this is one of the contractor. So after 2 rounds of discussion, he submitted his final price to us, for an example. So what they will do, every time you make some kind of changes, so they will go back and check it. All right, based on the last question and answer, last tender clarification, is that right? So you will fix it. No, for this item I need to reduce. For this item I can increase. So you will reshuffle the money and come to a different number. So that's what we call LAFO and BAFO. So tell me, so we start with where? We start with preparing tender document. Then we went to the next one. What we did? We shortlisted the contractors. We secured their EOI. We secured their NDA. Then we did the PQQ. Then all the tender documents that we prepared even before starting our shortlist, all the tender document that we prepared, ITT, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we floated to them, and we invited them for tender clarification meeting, or they pre-tender meeting. Then they raised many queries, tender clarification, tender bulletins. Then after that, they submitted their tender and we opened that. Then after that, we send the queries to them, many questions and everything. They reply to us. Then they submitted their BAFO and LAFO. Okay, finally, they submit their BAFO and BAFO. After that, what I'm going to do? Client, now he needs to see the what? The final conclusion. So, dear consultant, you went through so and so thing. Please give me the final conclusion. So after everything, BAFO, LAFO, PTC, everything, now again finally the tender team will prepare the technical as well as commercial and combined report. So finally, after all the discussion, a technical team will prepare a technical assessment. Okay, we did A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and now we identify that we ask this question, they answer this. And all the tender query clarification, we completed around 600 tender clarification. In that, this contractor, this bidder was very participative, very cooperative, and the other contractor, we identified that he was not participative. And also in terms of technicality, we are thinking that one, this contractor is best, and that contractor is medium, and this contractor is so and so thing. The technical team is going to provide their technical assessment. So I remove the name of the technical, you can see that one, or each and every companies. So they wrote about each and every company's technical knowledge of them, technical feasibility of them, technical competency of them, technical ability of them to do the work. So each and every companies, so they interacted with them. They submitted many technical document. So the technical team reviewed that and they put their what? Their assessment into that. Similar to that, cost consultancy or the procurement team, they are also going to do, right, how we went through the document, what are the document they submitted, how much their price initially, what item they missed first round, second round, what item they failed to provide, third round, what are the item we asked them and what kind of information they provided. So when you break the item into substructure, superstructure, concrete, so and so thing, how much each and every item is going to be. So they're going to do they're going to dive into a detailed commercial development, commercial assessment and process they will provide. And finally, this technical and procurement will come to both report, right? Technical as well as commercial report will come to a responsible person, mostly from PMC, or maybe if you are a main contractor, senior QS, or maybe senior cost manager, or lead manager, or commercial manager, or maybe who you are. So that document will come to him. Then he will read both document and he is going to prepare a combined report. So he is the one who is going to complete, because why? The technical team only checked the technicality and took a decision. And the procurement team only checked the commercial and they took that one. Oh, based on the commercial, company A is good first, B is second, C is third. But here technical people say no, C is very good. Based on technical, they are best. And A is second and the B is third in terms of technical. So which person are you going to select? Technical say C is best. Commercial said A is best. So whom you are going to select? So finally, the responsible person will receive both report and now he is going to allocate 70-30 rule. So normally he will put 70% out of 100. If I'm going to put 100 rank, 100 for all their submission, for technical, I'm going to put 70. For technical, I'm going to put 70 and for commercial, I'm going to put 30. So out of 30, this company got, for an example, this company put out of 100, let's say they got 80 and they got 70, they got 60. So out of 30, how much is that? 24. Out of 30, 21. Out of 30, 18. But this one, let's say out of 100, they got, let's say 70, 60 and 50. So this is going to be calculated for 70, right? Total 70. So this is going to be 49, right? 70, 70%. 7 into 7, 49. And 60, how much? 42. And 50, 35. So now I'm going to combine them. When I combine A, how much? A got how much total? Commercial he got 24 plus 42. Technical and commercial. B, how much? Guys, speak with me. 18 plus 35. C, how much? 49 plus 18. So now using all these number, you're going to come to a conclusion. You're going to come to a conclusion who is best. So that will be prepared by a responsible authorized person. Okay. So in my project, I'm doing that. I mean, my company is doing, and I'm leading that as a PMC. Maybe you are a main contractor, maybe main contractor, your department, you may do that. Right? So when we speak about that, so the technical team will provide as per the technically whom they are thinking 1, 2, 3, and commercial team will provide based on their commercial perspective who is 1, 2, 3. You're gonna combine all of them 70-30 or maybe 60-40 and 50-50. It depends. Sometimes client will tell that one, okay, 70 for commercial, 30 for technical. And that's not good. Most of the time you need to pay attention to 70 to technical, because technical is very important. 70 to technical, then 30 to commercial you need to allocate. So after that, finally, a commercial team will prepare a commercial combined report. In it, he will mention who are the parties involved in the tender. What are the tender criteria? So, okay, 70% technical, 30% commercial we evaluated. Any conflict of interest, anyone participate, maybe the client owned company participated, or maybe someone who worked for this company started his own company and participated. Some kind of conflict of interest, or maybe confidential information, whom you invited, how many offer that you have received, what is the best and final offer, and finally, who are the unsuccessful parties. Maybe 20 people we invited, 7 people we invited, only 3 people submitted the tender, 4 people did not submit the tender return, so they are unsuccessful. And finally, you will make your recommendation using your commercial and technical, who is best, who is best person. So you're going to make a recommendation. So you see, even though in the technical, he is 49, in the commercial, he's 18. C is the best one. 49 plus 18, how much it's going to be? 67 overall. And here, forget about this guy. Here, 66. So C is the best company. So I'm going to recommend to the client, he is the best company. Okay. So that's what we're gonna tell. Okay. So when we speak about tender, guys, starting from preparing a document, these are the way that you are going to manage the tender. Manage the tender. So as a part 1, what you're gonna do? We learn as a tender what kind of work that you will do and how you will manage the tender. If you are managing that, you are main contractor and you are trying to communicate with your supplier, subcontractor, and get the document. However, if you're gonna go and do something like you receive the tender, you are other side of the table. So you receive the tender and how you gonna manage it, that we will learn in our part 2. Okay. Right. With that, guys, this is the certificate, CPD certificate. Someone, they don't want this CPD certificate, so we don't want to do that. So maybe some of you, you still want that one. You need to post it in LinkedIn, or maybe you need to keep it for your record, or maybe if you are an APC candidate, you want that to give that to RICS. So some people want this one. So if you want that certificate, please make sure that you're going to scan and you're going to receive the report, receive the CPD certificate. Okay, only for those who are going to register using the QR code. will receive their certificate. Okay. Right. With that all, guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry. We plan to complete the lecture, the CPD to 2 hours, but unfortunately it's almost 2 hours for 15 minutes. I'm extremely sorry, but still, we all are, keen to learn, including myself. I hope you all have learned, and I'm sure that I have clarified in a very detailed manner what in practical we do in terms of handling tender, rather than just theoretically know about everything and sit down and we don't know when they put us to do the things, we will come back and sell. We don't know. But here, I hope I have explained something good for you all to understand. Okay. Right. If you have question, guys, I might have missed many question above. So please post your question if you still have question. Can we get the recording? Yes, we will upload that in our School of Sharif YouTube, and you will receive the link. Don't worry about it. All the participants will receive the link. Sir, can we get this